I'm so happy. Like, Erin, you're a
love you.
mom. You're a mom.
Guys, when you're a mother, Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeart Radio. A lot of news to get to. Go.
The biggest headlines are, one, LeBron not retiring.
Yep.
Headline number 2.
I gotta say this, and it's not a headline, it's an opinion, but I could write that article for you. Margot Robbie is killing the Barbie looks. I know we talked about crushing all of them. It's great.
She looks amazing. But I don't know who the casting director is, but those two together, great. Yeah. Okay.
The outfits are phenomenal.
Really, that's an aside. Second biggest headline of the week is
Vanderpump is back in action and they are filming. I have not seen a photo of Raquel back on set. I think I saw something last night as I was trying to go to sleep, but I'm really, I can't concentrate, of Sheena giving it to one of the Toms, meaning yelling. But I'm dialed in. I mean, where is Rachel? Where is she?
We should go. We should go in the background. We should go as an extra, but you don't really have a lot of time to go out because the third and final headline of the week, ladies and gentlemen,
my life is over.
Erin Andrews is a mother.
Oh,
Yay!
Yeah.
I could
cry. My apologies to the
goodness.
Calm Down podcast for rearranging their schedules and everything. Thank you. You guys have been so freaking patient, and I love you for it. Now, my girlfriend, who's on the other side of this, has been very patient with me through these 9 months because she has literally lived, breathed, and her boyfriend's been carrying an egg for me. We'll get to that. Coming up.
Wait, okay. We're going to get to all the specifics, but seriously, and I have cried every happy tear for you, and I literally was going to drive to the hospital and meet you as soon as your baby boy came out. Now, tell the world his name, tell me everything in that moment that the second, and then we'll work backwards on how this incredible 9-year journey culminated in a perfect baby boy. But tell me, take me into the delivery room that day. Yes, exactly.
we gotta do an outline. Where are we starting? Okay, where should we start?
Okay, I want to start with the moment that you saw him, because I don't think you and I haven't talked about this. We've talked about a lot of it. The moment you saw him.
So the moment we saw him, well, first of all, if we want to get straight into the delivery, Ryan's going to kill us because he asked us to go in order with a timeline. So he's going to be real pissed off. Let me turn on my comments to see where he is with all this.
Go back. It's our podcast. We'll get there in the specifics in the 9-year journey that you were on. But I just need the reaction when you saw him for the first time.
I think I was like, hi. It was funny because as soon as the nurses took him out, they were like, he's got hair and he's really cute. And we had, it was kind of crazy in the delivery room up until they got him out. We can get into that. So I wasn't even thinking, oh my gosh, what, does he have hair? Is he cute? I was just like, is this guy okay? What's happening? Hey, another headline, Jets on Hard Knocks. I know a quarterback that's going to love that.
I mean, by the way, welcome to Erin Andrews and Motherhood. We're talking about the baby in the birth canal, and she's like, breaking news. Back to you, Kevin and Greg. Jesus, I love you. Okay, go. Back to your baby boy.
Okay, so yeah, I was like, hi. It was just kind of they just throw him in your arms and it's all happening at once and it's wild and it's crazy. And I remember even when we were getting ready to take him outside back into our room, we put him in this rolly thing and we're like, are we allowed to take him out? And they were like, yeah, put him in this little rolly thing, which those are great, by the way. We haven't even talked about that.
Are you talking about a stroller? Yeah. What are you talking about? Rolly
You're not putting a newborn in a stroller. I got a lot to teach you before it's your turn.
You know what we're going to talk about? Oh, I love that you just said that to me. I got a lot to teach you. Okay, so you mean the actual things that you see in the movies where they put the babies in the little plastic bed thing and then which by the way, are nurseries still a thing? You put them in a nursery?
Ours didn't go in one. He didn't go into the nursery. He stayed in our room overnight. All right, let's start in order. Where are we in this timeline?
Okay. I just wanted that moment that you see him because this has been a 9-year journey, which I know that we sit here and rightfully so and can make funny little quirks and jokes and you can smile because you finally got the baby boy that you've always wanted. And granted, boy, girl, whatever it was, that I just can't imagine how grateful and everything that you feel. But on the other side of that, you know how difficult this has been. So
yeah.
Start wherever you want to start. Let's go and let's go through, because I know that there's a lot of people that listen to this podcast that are going through similar things or have gone through similar things.
And a lot of our listeners have been so awesome in terms of reaching out DM wise of like books for me to read. When I hadn't divulged that we were actually pregnant and so forth. So, we have been pretty candid on this podcast, which I have appreciated, just about my journey and the struggle. I did 9 years of IVF, was trying really, really hard. And you and I have talked about it ad nauseum about trying to get eggs. I just couldn't produce eggs. Yes. Did my age have a lot to do with it? Sure. But also I was dealing with, cervical cancer. And sometimes, your body just doesn't really do a great job with producing these eggs. And that was me. So, we would get so long in the process and you would just get one egg sometimes. Sometimes you would get 11. Sometimes you would get 2. Well, then you want to mix in your husband's sperm and make embryos and you're waiting. And then you don't have any. And you just feel, I ended up having to do IVF. I did 8 rounds of IVF.
Okay. And as someone who's only done
and
one
don't
round,
you always feel like, Charissa, like every vacation I was on, every event I had to go to, I was shooting up. Like I feel like so many of our vacations were affected by my freaking IVF. This was like my first summer. I didn't have to, we were in Montana. Kelly and Matthew wanted to stay longer. And I was like, I have to go home because I have to go get, an ultrasound. Like everything I was doing for the last 9 years was affected by IVF. And it sucked because there's no like rhyme or reason. There's no right timing. It's like, you don't even know when your right time is going to be. It's awful. It's a crapshoot.
And by that, it's also the phone calls and the different things that you're doing while you're trying to do your job, or even the medical stuff that you had to go through, and wearing, unfortunately, like certain things in your clothing because you had to have an operation, and you're reporting on Packers Cowboys coming up in America's Game of the Week. Like there's so much
that little game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's to me, which is why when you, which we'll get to in a second, like told me that this embryo took, and it's just like, it's so incredible. Okay. So starting at the very beginning, you had how many embryos left? Like how many, like, did you know that you could like try to get pregnant with?
So we didn't have many at all. We had, as my doctor would say, less than a starting lineup. That's one thing I loved about my fertility doctor so much, is that he knew for me, my way to kind of cope with things is sports. And, and so I would be like, all right, what are we looking at follicle wise? And you have enough for a starting lineup. This one could be your point guard. This one could be your starting quarterback, like things like that to tell me the strength of the embryos and all that stuff. So less than a handful, less than a starting lineup, which isn't great. And then we started realizing, when I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, I should have gotten a second opinion. I didn't. I went to the first doctor that told me that she could get this out, and she didn't. And she hacked me open, and I lost more of my cervix than was necessary. But unfortunately, the cancer went past the margin. So I had to have another surgery. And at that point, holding a baby was just not going to happen. Literally we went to, when we were like, okay, am I going to try to get pregnant now after cervical cancer? We went to a lot of, doctors that gave me advice about if I did go into labor while I'm working a Green Bay game, or if I did go into labor while I'm working a Patriots game, I have to stay in New England. I have to stay in Green Bay for the rest of my pregnancy. Like I cannot move. They even talked about like potentially stitching me up so like my cervix could hold it. But unfortunately, we made the decision. There just wasn't enough there to actually, carry a baby, and which was really hard. It was really hard to hear that. But COVID, Easter, we were in our house, and we're normally at our friend's house who has kids, Jackie Quick. We're usually there, and we're usually with everybody who has kids, and we're just here by ourselves. And we're like, this sucks. Like, this just sucks. My husband's great. We love each other, but we're like, what are we doing? So it wasn't really until
meaning
that
you
Easter.
You knew.
Why are we? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, why
let's
are we
just
waiting?
go through with this. Mm-hmm, exactly. Because we were kind of like, well, maybe I will get pregnant. Maybe I won't go into labor. And it was just like, this isn't working. I'm not getting pregnant. They don't want to use the embryos on me because I don't have very many. And I'm older. The stats are up against me. The numbers are up against me. I probably will lose the embryos. So, finally we were like, let's just try. Let's look into surrogacy. Let's see what we can find out. And let's see if it's even for us. So probably 2021, we really looked into it and we finally found someone. And this is a difficult process. It's mentally exhausting. You literally you go to an agency, they look for candidates, then they send you profiles or resumes of different surrogates and maybe surrogate of her and her husband. And you kind of read it. You read all about their life. And you feel like you really think that they're a good match. You could say, I'd like to meet them. Then they read my story and they read Jarrett's story of why we need surrogacy and why we're looking to go this avenue. Then you get on a Zoom because nobody does anything in person anymore because of COVID. And you meet them and you talk to them and you end up crying and you end up saying, thank you so much. This would mean the world to me for you to, be able to have my baby. And this is what we've gone through as a family. It's a lot. It's exhausting. Then from there, you have to get legal involved and they check them out. And then you end up, having them looked at. So we went through that with many, many different women. And my doctor was so particular and sensitive about who he chose as a surrogate because I didn't have many. So we'd get so close. And if they had one little thing wrong with them, he was like, oh my God, I can't do this.
Don't risk it.
In 2021, we found a lovely, lovely woman. We loved her so much. We adored her family, huge hockey fans. They were just perfect. They were absolutely adorable. They were right up the road. It was perfect. We went into this we didn't really know the risk of it all. And we thought it was going to be so easy to do. And we ended up putting 2 embryos in and we lost them both. And that was so hard. And that was actually a podcast we did. And we didn't say what it was. And I was just sobbing. I think you were in Lake Tahoe when I called you. Lake Arrowhead, sorry. Lake Arrowhead.
But I remember the text because we knew like you had, these embryo, like the transfer had happened and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for the news. And then I'll like never forget that text that I got from you where you're like, neither of them worked. And I just, my heart, like, I'll like cry thinking about it because, these are, it's their goal. Like these, like when you only have a few and then it just like, my heart like broke for you in that moment.
And we, like I said, we went into it so blind. We kind of just thought, well, let's get it over with. Let's have twins. Like it'll be like really quick and then we'll be done. Or if one doesn't take, we'll have the other. And we kind of just thought that's how it went. And so that was a really hard go for me. Jarrett was so good because he kind of like mourned and grieved right away. I remember he went upstairs and just laid in our bed with our dog and just bawled his brains out. And I just kept thinking, okay, we have to get past this. Because that's just how I am. That's how I am with like everything. Let's just, let's talk about the Jets on Hard Knocks. What's going on? I just don't want to get deeper. And I got really fucked up. I don't know if you remember, I was just not right. I remember Constance saying something to me. Yeah, I just couldn't communicate my feelings about it. I think I was scared to move forward. What does this mean if we just lost these 2? We don't have much left. What if we don't have success? We're going to have to find a different person. This is all like crazy. And I ended up having to get some help because I was actually, I know I've told you this, having a hard time like forming sentences. I just was like missing words more so than usual, I'm good for that. But it made me kind of deal with a lot. It was hard. It was really hard. But I think the biggest thing it made me do was start talking to you guys about it all more.
Because you're a tough
that was
cookie.
A good thing.
Like you let us, and us is the proverbial, your friend group, your family, like we know when and when you don't want to open up about stuff. And it's like, it's hard because you don't want to press someone, but when you love someone so much and you care about them and you just want to do anything that you can for them. So that's even more of a reason why with your baby boy being, have you said his name yet, by the way, on here?
Mac Attack Macaroni, the Big Mac.
So tell everyone his full name.
It's Mac, Roger for my grandpa who loves sports so much, Stoll.
So now all the more reason why Mac being here. And again, and we'll get into that other stuff of like the Megan Mitchell story of like they choose you and like
Oh my
everything happens for a
God.
reason. And
Yeah,
like
we
I'm
got a lot of
crying
years
over
to talk
that
about
at
that.
dinner at Poncho's at another night. Yeah, stay around for episode 2 of this story because it's just so special. So as on the side of heartbreak is the side of joy. So
Yep.
now being able to sit here and go back on this journey with you and
Yeah.
really like think about how long it's been for you. It's a testament to who you are. And I know I've said this to you, whether it's, at our pseudo baby shower, which I made you have because you reluctantly didn't want to have that. And I respect that because you don't want the attention to ever be on you, but you have worked so hard. And this baby boy is here because you and Jarrett didn't give up. And that would be the message, I think. And I would hope that people like, there's always another option, even if it wasn't your first choice. So
right.
After all of that happens, then for you, sort of what that next step was and how you kept going, even if it was so hard.
Dealing with myself, talking about it with you guys was a big one for me. I then, like you said, this led us to something even greater. We then found our kind of angel, one of our angels, and her name is Stephanie Levitt. She actually runs Family Match Consulting, and her story is incredible. And she's just an awesome person. I love her so much. And she led us to our surrogate. That wasn't easy though either. We had actually a couple other people that we had interviewed. We got really close with another girl that we thought we were actually going to do it with, the transfer with, and that didn't work out, obviously for all reasons that, were fabulous on the other end, but very hard at the time. And Steph made this whole process just a wonderful experience, how it should be. And she led us to our girl and our family. And I'm trying to think, I think it was last summer, maybe, that we met her. I think it was maybe like May or June that we met her. And we met her and we did a Zoom with them and we thought that they were lovely. But it's kind of like this is like your 6th or 7th interview with a surrogate. You're like, all right, let me cry and tell you my story again. Hello, how are you?
Yeah.
But they were great. We met them a few times for lunch and everything. And then when she checked out medically and everything was good, I was telling this story the other day. Obviously, I'm a person that can block my feelings, my emotions, hide behind sports. Not the healthiest thing to do, but I was working a 49ers game in, I think it was probably like October, maybe the end of September, right before the transfer. And I just blocked it all out, and then got on the plane to go take off back to LA. And I knew, oh, no, that wasn't even the transfer. The transfer, that was to find out if she was pregnant. So on this Sunday, I'm flying home and I just was looking out the window and I just started bawling because I'm like, shit, this is happening tomorrow.
We were texting.
I think I was like, I'm having a panic attack.
And I was like, and then I was also grateful that you were only on a 45-minute flight because I was like, I need you on the ground. I need you because I don't need you cross country. And then you checking out on me. And all of a sudden I'm like, I can't get to you. So let's make this 45 minutes and get home and get in your bed.
The flight attendant was like, would you like anything to drink before we take off? Yes, I'll have 3 drinks. Thank you. I'll have red, white, and blue. I don't care.
Yeah, but it's really happening. And so that's where like emotionally you were at there. And then.
Yeah. And then the next day, it was a crazy day. Well, first of all, leading up to that, after the transfer, it takes about 10 to 12 days to figure out if they're pregnant. So my girlfriend, Charissa Thompson, and Kelly Stafford, girlfriends, drop off this huge care package to my house. It was basically the 12 days of waiting to see if you're pregnant. And each day had a note.
She needs a distraction.
Yeah. Each day had a note and a different gift. There were Disney magazines, there were cuddly socks, there were jammies that I wear all the time now, my Kate Spade jammies. There were bathrobes, there were lip glosses, there were like Charlotte Tilbury, like stuff. It was just so sweet. And so of course, I had it back here, like during the podcast when we were filming, and I was like, oh God, people are going to see this. Every day, Jarrett would come down and be like, so what is day 3 like? What's day 4 like? What do you got inside? So you guys were amazing.
He's so cute. But
I
no, we
know.
just wanted, because I remember Kelly texting me and she was like, we have to distract her. And Kelly's been very, very open about her
About
struggles
her
and her
IVF
fertility
journey.
journey. And
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And that is, I think, the thing. And hopefully to anyone that's listening, like the support system, and whether that's your immediate girlfriends or whether that's strangers that you don't even know, is that unfortunately and fortunately, this community is really, really big. And if
Yeah.
you lean on them
Those
and
waiting rooms are packed.
if you let your friends or even strangers like support you, then you don't feel like you're so isolated. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't went on this journey that you have. You can only hope to like support somebody in that and be like, okay, we're here for you. So it was the 12 days
Yeah.
of distraction and the 12 days of Christmas
It was
that,
so good.
thank you, baby Jesus, culminated in Mac Roger Stoll, because oh my gosh. So then we get through because we're all in this together.
You
No,
guys are
I
all
just
in it. The Staffords, the Thompson Condaries, like the Stoll Andrews. Yeah. Like we're in it. My girlfriend, Jackie, Heather, Megan, my other Megan. Yeah. Like everybody's in it. They know we're
yes.
supposed to find out if she's pregnant or if she's not. And that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And so usually when you find out, like last time we found out it didn't work, it was about like 4:00 in the afternoon. So I had said to you guys, like you guys were being so sweet. And a lot of times friends don't know how to react. Like they don't know what to do. They don't want to get in your way, but you guys wanted to be helpful if it didn't work. And I get that. So Kelly, tell the story. Kelly had the idea. We're just going to plan a dinner regardless. We're going to plan a dinner because this is what happened when Matthew won the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
we're
ahead.
planning a dinner. We're meeting at such and such restaurant at Dan Tana's. What? Who cares what they're saying? At Dan Tana's at, let's say, whatever time it was. We were going to meet at 7:00, and so then you're supposed to find out. I think like around 4, right? Was that
Ish,
4 or 5?
I thought.
Yeah, and then tell everybody what happened.
Well, what are you and Kelly doing that whole time? You guys are just texting, right? Like, have you heard? Have you heard? Like,
of course, your update. Do I have a wife? Again, wife, is the signal strong? I remember Steve and I were waiting at South Beverly Grill, and they like only allowed 3 drinks, and I was like, I'm gonna need another drink. They're like, you're already at your max, psychopath. Like, you got to go to another restaurant. Because I was like, oh, we're waiting, and then like as time keeps going by, and I was like, oh no, because now you're like, oh fuck, like this might not be good if enough times like keeps going by. So
I know
we were just waiting for you to tell us great news. But then we got the text that said,
so I was laying on the couch and it's like finally 5:00 and I'm just like, I'm literally, my heart is just coming out of my chest. I'm like, this is crazy. This is like torture to put people through. Jarrett's stomach's killing him. He's running up and down. And so the stairs, it was. So finally I called the fertility clinic and I was just like, I don't want to press 3 for help. I don't want to press 4 for English. Like, just get me an operator. I don't want to hear this music. Just let me know what's going on. So my sweet, sweet nurse, who I love so much, was like, I am so, so sorry. The test results are not going to be in today. You're not going to find out until tomorrow. And I'm like, they can't do this to me. They cannot do this to me. And instantly I went into, let's call Neil Elitrosh with the Rams. Let's call somebody from the Chargers. Like, who do we know to break into the lab? Like, I literally thought, I'm going to call Sean McVay right now. I'm going to call Sean McVay and ask for help. Like, I need help to get into this lab. And she just said, I'm so sorry. There's nothing we can do. And I texted you guys and you were just like, oh,
and
God.
then our reaction was, how can we break it? We're going to get arrested for breaking into this lab and we don't care. Let's go. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Jarrett was like, get your clothes on. Let's go. Let's go meet them. Like, let's go meet them and let's just go have a time, because sitting here, we're going to drive each other nuts. I'm going to, cause some sort of pain or whatever, like, to my heart. So I was like, all right, fine. So we got an Uber. We went up to Hollywood and we had a night.
Oh my God, we had a time.
Matthew had a game that weekend, but he was such a trooper because he was like, you know what? It's your night, Erin.
I know, like the team player and the quarterback that he is. He's like, you know what? We're going to win together and we'll lose together. And in this particular case, Steve, my boyfriend, had been carrying around this little dish with an egg, like a raw egg, for how long? Like at that point, like a month
since
or
the
something?
transfer. Yeah.
So since the transfer, he had been carrying around this egg and continued to carry it around until we found out that it worked, and then kept it in our refrigerator until we met Mac. Because he's like, because we wanted to make sure through the entire pregnancy, like it was like I have so many pictures of Steve in
Holding
random
the
places, like,
egg.
you know, the flat Stanley things of like, you take the picture of like the random cutout, like we're in Asia, we're in the Eiffel Tower. There's 700 photos in my phone with Steve with the egg just randomly around. But yeah, so he brought the egg that night and it was excellent. We were wild and at least
Wild.
like
And at
hopefully
one point,
distracted
I
you and
got way too whatever with my hands and broke the egg. And you guys realized I broke
there
it.
was
And
just a
then,
minor crack. There was a minor crack, but I was like, okay, that's okay. That's okay. This doesn't mean anything. We're still good. But yeah, we tried to get you through that night. And then I had to leave on an early flight the next day
where were you
to go
going?
wherever I was going. I don't know, somewhere. I had to go somewhere. So then I was like, oh shit, like when we find out this news, if I want to, like, I better have Wi-Fi on this plane. Like, okay. So then the next day happened and I have to connect through somewhere. And I remember being like, oh my God, I don't want to, because I don't also want to annoy you. I'm like, I need, like, what's happening? What's
Yeah.
happening? But then I finally, like, my phone starts ringing and it's FaceTime with you and Kelly, and my plane's about to take off. And you
Yeah.
tell me on the plane that it
That it
worked. And I
worked.
start crying, like hysterically. And
Crying.
I have this coat over my head. And it's like, because I'm trying to like muffle. We're about to take off.
Because
And
it
it's like,
closed the door on the plane. Yeah.
close the door. And so then you tell me it worked and I spill my coffee all over. It goes down my leg, down the woman next to me. And they at this point, they think I'm just hammered. I'm about to get escorted off the plane because they think I've had way too many, which has happened at the bar. But in this case, I was like hysterically crying, like tears of joy. And it was just, we have like stupid pictures of the FaceTime screenshots from that day. But like
Oh my
how,
God.
like that feeling for you,
And
I can't
remember, hold
imagine.
on, remember the flight attendant going, ma'am, you need to turn off your phone. And you put
Yeah,
a blanket over you. You're like Kristen Wiig in Bridesmaids. You're like, I'm sorry,
totally.
my friend is pregnant. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. And you're crying. Like you are so lucky they didn't kick you off that plane. Like
I was
you
one step away
sounded
from help me.
crazy.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I
Help
did.
me.
I looked like a lunatic,
Stove.
but I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, actually, kick me off this plane. I dare you to, because I'd love to finish this conversation.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
gosh, it was so exciting. So then for you, so this journey, and it culminates in like the news that you've been waiting, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
9 years, your whole life to hear, and like you and Jarrett having that moment. And then for you, like how did the pregnancy for your surrogate, did it feel like it went by fast, or like, because how is that process for you and how did it feel sort of being like, you know, just letting this, and of course she's
Yeah.
a member of your family now, but like, you know, somebody carry your baby and
Mm-hmm.
that sort of all the psychological stuff that goes with that and thinking about it daily.
I feel like now looking back at it, it does seem like it went by fast. I mean, we were in the middle of a football season. The first time we went to go hear his heartbeat, I had conference calls and Zooms with the Packers and the Cowboys because they were playing that Sunday in America's Game of the Week. So I remember we went to go listen to his heartbeat and see it. And then I had to race out of there. And Jared's like, let's go celebrate. And I'm like, I have to get in the car. Zach Martin is calling me. I've got to do an
Right.
interview with Zach
Right.
Martin as my husband's at the bar, you know, having two Sauvignon Blancs, celebrating, hearing our kid's heartbeat. And then I'm like, hey, we got to make this quick because we have Aaron Rodgers at 3:00. He's like, can we toast our kid? Like, really? So, you know, it's like, I was like trying to cram in a football season and then deal with, you know, this, pregnancy. But it did seem fast, I think, looking back at it now. She was is everything that we and anyone could ever want in a surrogate. So she's amazing. She's everything I'm not in terms of being
Oh,
calm,
stop
so
it.
chill. She knew she had done surrogacy before. She's a mom. She just kind of really led us through it, held our hand, which was incredible.
Mhm.
Also a sports fan. Here's a fun one. When I had my playoff games, she would turn the TV up so he could hear my voice. They did the same
No.
thing for Jarrett when Jarrett was on TV so he could hear Jarrett. So yeah, they just got it. And they really just guided us through this whole thing. It was awesome.
That is so special
I
because first, and we've talked
know.
about this, there are not enough words to describe the
The
selflessness of a
angels.
surrogate.
Yes. Yes.
Like I don't even, and I would love, I mean, I know that there, of course, there's the anonymity and rightfully so, whatever, but like, I just want to do like a whole like conversation with
Mhm.
like how and why and all the things. And obviously, you know,
Let's talk to
various
Steph
reasons.
on the podcast one time. Let's bring her in.
Yeah. We definitely should. But like, wow, what an incredible person to do that. I mean, that is like the
Yeah.
ultimate act. So that's so thoughtful. Like, oh, because
Hmm.
again, we hear all the time, like babies in the womb can like hear music. And so for her to turn up your voice, that's so sweet.
I
That's so
know.
sweet.
She's the best. She was the best. And like, just to fast forward to delivery and all that stuff, that's where, we had a great relationship with them. We'd go meet them, we'd text them. We were on a family text chain with them, everything like that. But it wasn't until the delivery that it was like, wow. I mean, it just, the relationship just moved to a whole different place. And
Mhm.
we had a little bit of like kind of an emergency in the delivery room, nothing major. She just dilated really, really fast. He dropped. They wanted to, kind of get his heartbeat like back, chill. Like they didn't lose his heartbeat, but they wanted to get him ready for delivery. And that's stressful for the baby when they're going through the birth canal, all the things. We talked about it countless number of times. Am I going to be in there? Am I going to watch? What am I going to
Yeah.
do? I don't know.
Yeah.
We have a good friend that just went through surrogacy. He and his wife were so lovely to me to tell me what they did. And that really helped a lot. But once again, my surrogate, she guided us through this with her husband as well. And we kind of walked in and they were working on getting the baby calmed down before delivery. They also wanted to get her doctor in there in time because the doctor had left. Nobody thought she was going to give birth that quickly. And she, everybody's kind of yelling and I'm up against the wall and I'm like, oh God, what's happening? And I said to Jared, should we
Yeah.
be here? Should we be here? Should we be here? And he's like, we're fine. We're fine. But I had my head facing the wall because I didn't want to be in the way of the doctors and the nurses. And a lot was happening. They were trying to stabilize a lot of things. And Jarrett was seeing a lot of stuff. So then all of a sudden, a nurse grabbed me and said, she wants to hold your hand. She wants to hold your hand. And I was like, I don't want to get in the way. And she's like, go be with her. So they grab me. I walk
Why am
around
I getting
and I just
emotional? Like,
grab her
look at
hair.
me. I'm like, that's so sweet.
It's the most unbelievable thing. And then I'm like, Jared, come be with me. She grabs my hand, Charissa. And this woman, like she's giving birth. I look at her. She's got
Your
one
baby.
tear just coming down her eye, one tear. She was like, just an
Rock
angel, a
star.
machine, just crushing. And at that moment, Jarrett and I turned into like the biggest sports fan. And we're like, come on, you can do it. Like, you got this, girl. And I think
Oh.
I've showed you this picture. I think Jarrett has. And this is where I'm so proud of my husband. And I'm just like really following his lead in this is that we have this picture and he can't wait to show everybody. It's the perfect picture of what surrogacy should be. I am hugging or I'm kissing my girl on the head and Jarrett is just holding the nurse as she's like cleaning up Mac. And he's like, he looks like he won another cup. And it's like, that is the perfect picture of surrogacy.
Mhm.
And he just like, they gave us Mac and we was like, oh my gosh, okay. And it was just so crazy. But then Jarrett could not wait to give him to our girl to just be like,
Which
well,
is
look what
like,
you did.
that says everything
It was
about who you guys so are.
amazing.
That says everything
But
about who you are.
if you have a
Come on, he
fantastic
waited to hold.
experience, that's what you feel like. That's what you feel like because you're just like, you knew that, yeah, this person's giving a birth, but this person is giving birth to your kid. Like, and they are like rock stars doing it. Jarrett couldn't wait. And he has this picture, like he shows it to everyone. I know he probably showed it to you and Steve, but like, he's like, look at this picture. This is the first time she saw him. Like, it's so sweet. And then
Sweet.
we
Yeah.
had a moment when we said goodbye to her in the hospital the next day and she came in to say goodbye and all her family was with her and that was really emotional and like she said bye to Mac and Jarrett closed the door and he walked back into the hospital room and he was just crying and I was like, what's happening? And he goes, that's it. Like, it's just, she did so much and that's it. I'm like, that's not it.
Oh,
She's a part of our family forever.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's not it. But yeah, it was
Oh,
really
it's
cool.
so
That whole thing
special.
is like
So
another level.
I remember you just said that, you know who you're talking about, who helped you sort of from that outside perspective of what to expect. So if you could give anybody
Yeah.
advice, I know it's so fresh because Baby Bear is like brand new. What advice do you
Hmm.
have for mothers that are on the other side of, waiting for their surrogate or just sort of like what kind of wisdom can you now bestow upon someone that might be listening that's like hasn't had their baby yet or is thinking about
Hmm.
this, sort of your big takeaways on, the chapters of surrogacy and sort of what you've learned throughout this like incredible process.
It's a lot. It's so much to kind of take in mentally. And I would recommend being with a great group that, like our family match consulting, our woman, Stephanie, who matched us with the surrogacy, no text was too late or too early in the morning. No text was stupid. No question was ever, dumb or, I know that's redundant, but she literally held our hand through it. She also got to know us. So she knew who to place us with, who to match us with. And that was really helpful, especially when, you even get like what you're packing when you're going to the hospital. Like, I don't know what I'm bringing, like all those things.
Right.
So I would say that was the number one thing for us. Family Match Consulting. This is not an ad. I can't hype her up enough. You need someone that you really trust, because it is a whole new territory we had never been a part of before. You have a ton of questions. You have people in your life asking you questions. So you want to get those answered. And that was big. And another thing, Stephanie really guided us on is the financial burden of this whole thing is incredible. It costs a lot of money to do this. And it really got me to thinking, and I know I talked to you a lot about it, is that it is, for me, I did this because I was not able to carry a baby. That was just not our option. It wasn't a luxury thing. It's not because I didn't want to be pregnant on the sidelines. I would have loved to have been pregnant on the sidelines. I think the guys would have gotten a kick out of it. I would have loved to have.
I'll tell you one of those guys, and I'm going to remind you, because I'll tell you after, but okay.
Who?
So I told Travis Kelsey when I saw him at the charity event that, these happen, and I hope you don't care, but he's sending me a little
like
something.
I could care.
I know, but like I told him, because he's sending me something.
It better be a badass, like baby Louis Vuitton like thing. Come on, Trav.
But he's the
best.
So excited. It was the same reaction that Terry Bradshaw gave when you showed Terry the ultrasound picture when we were in Las Vegas, and the guy's face, and that's why, I'm so excited, like, for so many reasons. But yeah, so Trav was like, oh my God, that's like, just so excited for you, because you are the sister to so many of these guys, and like they're the big brothers. And now like Mac has so many big brothers. So it's really, really special.
I think that's the part that's tearing me up, because I've talked about all this stuff, but like, I haven't talked to the boys yet, and like Brian Dable texted me the other day and he read it and he's like, I'm so happy. And it was just like, those boys know, like, right? Yeah. Really
You're,
cool.
the journey and the hours, and you have spent so much of your life not being able to start your own family, or starting it later in your life, because your life has been your professional career. Yeah. But that has been your family. Right. And I feel the same way. I sit here and I don't have kids, and like so much
that's our family.
That's our family. Exactly. So it's just like becomes this extended group that just is so excited for you. And I know that what you want is other people to be able to have the same opportunity that, you have had. And you just mentioned that there is a huge financial burden. So I think it's really special. You spoke about it on, the Today Show and the platform there. And I know that it's really important for you to be vocal about this process. So what do you want people to know that maybe didn't get a chance to hear what you said earlier on?
No, we're going to wrap up this never ending podcast after this. I do want to talk about this one point quickly. And I have two funny athlete stories about this whole thing. I do want to talk about the financial burden. That's one thing I learned a lot through this whole thing, is that, a lot of people do this, yes, for a luxury purpose, but a lot of them do it because it's their only way that they're going to have a baby. And every time we would talk to Stephanie or write a check, I just thought, oh my God, think of people in the LGBTQ community. Think that this is their way to have a baby for, men, a lot of, obviously. And then think about people who went through cancer like I did, spent all their money on these medical bills. And now if they want to have a kid and this is the only way to do it, they've got to pay for IVF and surrogacy. Just a lot of it. I think we need to rethink the way we talk about it, the way, we need to make it comfortable in conversations. And then I feel like it's going to be easier for people to accept, easier for people to realize people need financial help for this. So Stephanie, who I've talked about a lot, I noticed that she would align herself with this group called Baby Quest Foundation. And she actually helped a woman go through surrogacy, and she helped get it financed. And Baby Quest Northwest Foundation, I want to say it right. They actually are on a mission to make parenthood happen for those who cannot afford the high costs of IVF, surrogacy, egg and sperm donation, egg freezing, embryo donation. They're focused on helping couples or singles in this journey, especially those who are cancer survivors, military personnel, regardless of gender and sexuality. They've given out 20 grants to help people get their babies. And this is just something that I hate, being the advocate for everything, but this is one I'm really, really, really excited about, aligning myself with. I feel like we have a purpose. I feel like we have a voice for all this. And I'm really, really looking forward to it. So more to come on all of that.
I think that's so special because it's not something that you should feel like, oh, I can't do it because of a financial reason. So knowing that there's options, I think that's really special to pay it forward, because that is the ultimate thing, is that you have the ultimate gift now. And you've had a lot of people that have helped you along the way, but that also,
and we want to help others.
I know you're quick to deflect, attention, but it also starts with you and Jarrett, and that, that athlete mindset that you guys both have, like, you don't give up, and you didn't give up, and now you have a baby boy. So I have to ask the question of, like, what has been the best part about being a mother, albeit your short tenure? What has been like the greatest thing? Like, what has surprised you the most, good and bad? Like changing diapers, or like give me the good, the biggest surprise, good and bad.
Just kind of studying his face, watching my husband with him. Jared is always like, I'm your dad.
With, like,
really hot.
A baby?
Yeah. I'm your dad. I'm your dad. And then, because we're both super competitive, not so much with each other, but just in life, it's like, I'll change the diaper. I want to try this because we both want to nail it. Yeah, to be better than each other.
I can attest to this. I'm sitting on your couch because I was like, I need to see him immediately. Like the second, like I got over there, he needed his diaper change, and you guys were like, so it's really sweet to watch you guys as a team. Where it's like, oh no, you can go, babe, you do it. Like, it's just really special to see your relationship now with Jarrett in a completely different way, and seeing you hold a baby, like, is my like magic. I'm so happy for you, Erin. I'm really happy for you.
I love you. And I can't thank you enough for just helping and guiding me through this. And somebody asked me the other day, when is your like real big cry going to happen? I think I'm very much like Cameron Diaz from The Holiday. Like, I know it's going to come. I don't cry right away about things. And somebody told me, you're going to cry when that baby, like, he's a newborn now, he eats, sleeps, poops, and like, that's it. She's like, when he acknowledges you, when you walk into the room and he hears your voice. I feel like he's doing that now, but not really. Two quick funny athlete stories about this. I can't wait to get more, because obviously we're announcing it today officially, like it's been announced, but like we're commenting on it. Couple weeks ago, we were at the Fox seminar, and you are so lovely and you are so wonderful. And you give a shout out and you say Fox's family. We have a new family edition. Rob Gronkowski is sitting there, and she hears Erin Andrews just, had newborn son Mac. And he goes, oh, really? I was just with EA 3 weeks ago. I didn't know she was having a baby. Surrogate Gronk. Surrogate. But I love him so much. Like, I was just with her 3 weeks ago. I didn't notice.
So, wake up.
It was a baggy shirt, Gronk.
Yeah, actually, I just discovered that you could have a baby in 3 weeks, and I'm already back in my skinny jeans. Like, God love him. It's very on brand.
Oh my God. We saw Tom Brady in February, and my husband was so excited to tell him, and they were skiing for a bit together. And then I saw Tom later that day, and he gave me a big hug, and he was like, congratulations. Like, I had just come off doing the Super Bowl. Like, we had a kick-ass broadcast, great game. Mahomes comes back from an injury. I get Kelsey and Mahomes, and I go, thanks. The game was awesome.
115 million viewers.
Yeah, 115 million viewers. TV goes, congratulations. So happy for you. I was like, thanks. It was like one of the best Super Bowls I've ever worked. I was like, Mahomes, Kelsey I was like, we missed you, but it was a time. And he was like, I mean about the baby. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks.
My favorite is that it's so great though, because again, and this is like one of the many reasons why I'm so excited for you, because like now your first thought will be like, he's here. It's so different. It's like, like we would be sitting there and we're in Montana, and Steve orders a cake, and the cake says happy third trimester. And
trimester.
The waitress didn't hear him correctly, and it says happy third meester.
Yeah,
and we
Meester.
all just We all started cracking up because we're like, it's your third trimester. And like, just, and this is Erin. She's like, happy third trimester. Like,
cheers.
Cheers to us. And no, it's honestly, I'm so happy. Like, Erin, you're a
love
mom. You're a mom.
Guys, when you're a mother,
That's my favorite phrase you can say forever now. Wait, has
You're
he peed
a
on you
mother.
yet? Can you change the diaper?
That was a story I couldn't tell when I got a tattoo. One of our good friends, he's like a 13, 14-year-old. He saw this and said, Erin, you're a mother. Yep. Sure am, Augie. Sure am. Has he peed on me? Yes. He peed on me right in the hospital that night. And then he's peed on me during a diaper change here. And then peed through his diaper one time. So we're good. We're golden.
I love you. Well, I couldn't be happier for you. And I just can't wait for like all the stories. And like, I know now that
I got a lot of stories, guys. I got a lot of stories building up for the past 9 months. I'm dying to tell you all.
And that's the other part that I'm so excited because like I'd start to say something and I'm like, nope, can't say it yet. So don't you feel like relieved? This is real scoopage that you finally.
Also, like, we're great, like, liars or actresses. We've been holding this in for 9 months. We've been lying to our audience,
but not to ourselves.
No,
that's
not
more
to ourselves.
We'll lie to you guys, but not ourselves.
Here's a teaser for next week. Sugar water is the pits. And also, here's the other thing. I'm going to talk. I can't wait to go on a rant about this stuff you have to buy for newborns. Here's the thing. I've been for 9 months keeping this in and dying to go off about it, but I am next week. When you tell me to get a bassinet and the fitted crib sheet, and I can't find a waterproof pad protector to put with it, just make it a package. Just make it like I'm going to Chick-fil-A and I'm getting the sandwich and the waffle fry and the
value meal.
Just give it to me. Like, I don't want to have to be doing measurements and looking around. Guys, this could be a lot easier.
Guys, she's a mother.
I'm a mother.
She does not have time for this.
I'm a mother.
Well, this is the headline of the week. Erin Andrews and Jarrett Stoll, congratulations on your perfect baby boy, Mac Roger Stoll. Welcome to the world. I'm already obsessed with you. I ask you for like pictures every single day.
Aww.
I love you so much. And Erin, I'm so freaking happy.
Love you. Love you, love you, love you. Calm Down with Erin and Charissa is a production of iHeartRadio.
For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.